Mm-hmm. Yup. What's good, fam? Back at it live and direct. Live and direct. Yeah, I know. Y'all can hate on me. I haven't streamed in like 4 days. I said I was gonna get the Monday through Thursday timeline going. Didn't really hit it this week, but this week, I know you guys, I have to earn y'all trust because as I say, trust is earned, it's not given. I have to earn y'all trust back. But yeah, you know, I've been going hard this week, thinking about a lot of stuff for the future of my content and stuff like that. So it's been a little bit rocky in terms of the consistency for the streams. But this week coming, I want to have an established schedule that I'm just keeping going. It's because I'm trying to like push myself as hard as possible while staying as consistent as possible, because this is where you get the most out of yourself, for whatever grind that you're going through or whatever goals you're trying to achieve right now, fam. You know, naturally you have to be increasing intensity while remaining consistency or keeping your consistency so you can maximize your progress and your development, of course. So that's kind of what I've been doing, but I want to have a little bit more of a consistent schedule and just pushing myself inch by inch by inch instead, so then I can stay consistent, because I enjoy these streams. I enjoy these yap sessions and shit like that. We're going to go over some success tips, and we're also talking about ignoring entertainers, because this is very important for you guys to understand as well. So yeah, man. So we got a few things to talk about. It's going to be a brief stream. I like the shorter streams. At some point in the future, the streams will be longer, though. At some point, when I have like a team and all this other kind of crazy stuff, the streams will be longer. But for now, straight into the point has been pretty good. I hope these are valuable. I love talking on the stream, shit like that. So yeah, okay. Let me get this one thing up that I want to talk about real quick, because we're just gonna jump right into it in this motherfucker. Let me get a sip of water too. You know what I'm saying. You gotta be drinking y'all water, man. I'm thirsty. But yeah, good shit for y'all. Good shit for y'all. Okay. So this is one thing I want us to look at. Okay, let me just boom. Okay, boom. Okay. So there was a tweet that I saw from Alex Hermosi earlier today, and I really want you guys to take a lot of good value away from this. And I responded to the tweet. So let me read it out for you guys. So Alex basically says, "It's astonishing how far being relentless, unyielding, and indefatigable will take you. The world overestimates lazy genius and underestimates simpleton who never stops." And my response to this was, "And I believe the lazy genius is glazed because they can produce results fast, and weak minded men seek fast results. Due to the laziness, though, lazy geniuses never survive the test of time. Due to the laziness, though, lazy geniuses never survive the test of time. But determined demons always do. And sometimes determined demons look like lazy geniuses because nobody knew what they went through before they won." You know what I'm saying? So I want that to just sit in your guys' minds for a second there. Okay. This is something that's ridiculously important to understand. You know, growing up, you might have seen guys that are more talented than you, right? Usually, as men, we see it in terms of athletic ability. Let's say you were a soccer player. You might see a guy that's just insanely good at dribbling, right? Or his fitness was just crazy, or his shooting ability was just crazy. And yours was trash. You weren't really that good at dribbling. You had to train to get better. Your fitness wasn't great. You had to train that to get better. Your shooting ability wasn't that great. You had to train to get better, right? And you're looking at this other guy and he's doing it effortlessly. You know what I'm saying? While eating hot Cheetos, never doing fitness at all, drinking soda and candy and just doing all this other bullshit. And he's just insanely good. And you have to be over here working insanely hard. And you sit there and you're like, damn, I fucking wish I was that dude. I fucking wish I could just do the thing. I wish I could just be good, you know? And you're probably seeing this right now with whatever goals you're currently pursuing. You might see guys that are like, damn, he's just already in this position. Damn, he's already just so good or whatever. When you're envious of that, you're like, bro, I wish I was just talented. I wish I was just a genius naturally, you know? But what I want you to deeply understand right now, bro, is that when you look at all the men that have reached the pinnacle of their crafts, the best men to ever walk this planet, right? None of these men ever talk about how, oh, I was just talented. That's why I'm here. I'm just a genius. That's why I'm here. Or I got this good at whatever I'm in right now. Or I got this good during my career because I'm just a genius. I'm just talented. You know what they always talk about? Mentality. They always said, my discipline, my consistency, my focus. That's what brought me here. My determination. That's what brought me here. I was willing to sacrifice everything. Almost everything that they talk about has to do with the mind. Never latent ability, never my talent, never my genius, never what I was born with. It's always this. All the men that have reached the pinnacle of anything. That's what they always talk about. So, what this should really communicate to you, if you have massive ambition and massive goals for your life, it's not, oh, I need to be talented to get there. It's no, my determination is what matters. My consistency, my focus, my discipline is really what's going to take me there. Because all the men who've reached the pinnacle of anything, that's what they refer to. That's how they got there. They don't talk about their talent. Because what you have to understand about talent, talent is just like a short booster. It's like a quick booster. You know, if you've ever played Subway Surfers before, like it's basically a game type where it's just you're trying to reach a high score, you're trying to run the furthest distance. It's also like Temple Run, for example. Maybe you guys might be too young for that, but basically Subway Surfers like, and what you can do is you can get an item that gives you a boost. So instead of starting at 0 when you're starting your run to beat your high score, you can start at like 1,000 yards or whatever instantly. That's basically what talent is like. But the thing is, if a guy decides to use that booster, go further ahead than you, and you start at 0 and you start running, yeah, you might be envious. Yeah, you might be like, damn, he's ahead of me. But because he's relying on his talent instead of his mind, his determination, his discipline, his focus, his will, he might end up fucking up on the run. He might end up messing up, whereas you keep going. So you might be behind him, but over time, you start getting closer and closer and closer and closer until you reach them and then surpass them. Because your mentality matters more than your reality. Reality gives people latent ability and latent talent, but mentality is what turns you into a winner. It's what makes you an inevitable winner. Is your mentality, is your focus, is your discipline, is your consistency. That's why these things are pillars of success. Nobody says a pillar of success is talent. You know, people will talk about how talent is a factor, but they'll never say it's a pillar. They'll never say, oh, you just need to be talented. That's it. You'll never hear them say that. Because all the best men to walk the planet have always said, my mind, my mentality, my determination, my will is what took me where I wanted to go. Because success is so often a war instead of a battle. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's who can go the furthest distance. It's who can go the furthest out. It's an infinite game, not a finite one. If you're willing to play forever, you're always going to be able to be a guy who's only going to briefly play. Who's only going to briefly play the game. You're always going to be able to beat him because you're willing to go the furthest distance. This is why consistency and discipline and these things matter so much, because it's actually what takes you where you want to go. So I want you guys to not give a fuck about any of these guys out here that are talented or damn, he's got that ability. Damn, he's got that opportunity. It doesn't fucking matter. Because if you know, hey, I'm going to be in this game forever. I'm willing to die behind this shit. I'm willing to either win or die. You're going to win because you'll do the test of time. Whether it takes you a year to win, 2 years, 3 years, 20 years, 30 years, you're going to win because you decided you're never going to stop. And you're going to see all these guys who were more talented than you, had more stuff than you, they're just going to keep falling to the wayside because they're relying on their talent, not their mentality. So that's how I want you guys to move. I want you guys to not care about talent because it's not really what turns you into a winner. No man, I'm telling you, no man who's reached the pinnacle of anything, they never ever talk about talent. They always talk about the work, the mind, my discipline, my consistency. That's what they always talk about because that's really what it is. That's what's going to turn you into a winner. So that's how I want you guys to move from now on, man. Like, I just saw that tweet by Alex and I was just like, yeah, this is just so ridiculously facts, you know? And as I was even saying before, like in the tweet, so many weak men, it's just like they want the fast result. They want the instant result. And when you look at a talented person, that's what you want. You just want the talent because it just makes you instantly good. But it's just so funny because those aren't the men that win the biggest. The most talented guys are not the guys that actually win and consistently win. It's the guys with the best mentalities, the mentality monsters. It's the determined demons that actually succeed. So that's how I want you guys to move, bro. You gotta Your mentality matters more than anything, not your talent, because your mentality will give you all the ability you need, because you're going to train forever until you get the ability that you need. So, yeah. Okay. So the other thing, kind of shifting gears here, I wanted to talk about was something that I want you guys to understand, especially when it comes to politics and understanding the world and shit like that, right? So this is not something I would expect you guys to really know about, but I think it's very important to understand. So, okay. So basically, a lot of you guys might not know, but basically, J.K. Rowling is basically fighting Emma Watson right now. And if you don't know, J.K. Rowling is the one who created the Harry Potter series, which you should 100% have heard about. You know what I'm saying? So J.K. Rowling created the Harry Potter series, and now she's in this little feud with Emma Watson, who was the young star who played Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter series, right? So they're kind of fighting over trans right and trans women being women, which they're not, and shit like that. So to make a short story short here, J.K. Rowling is basically mad. Like, how could a girl that I basically turned into a star and made famous, speak so poorly against me, especially over this trans woman, whole trans situation, basically? Like, how could this be the situation? And responding to a tweet that she had, basically talking back to Emma Watson, how basically she's like, well, I literally made you rich and famous. You haven't even been through shit. That's why you can have these dumb ideas. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So this is where I have the tweet pulled up now, and I'll read it out for you guys. So, because her tweet was kind of long, I don't really need to read it, because this is the really important thing I want you guys to understand. So basically, it reads as, this is a primary reason why you should never trust the opinions or thoughts of people who were child actors or got rich at a very young age in the entertainment industry. They're so disconnected from reality most of the time that they constantly live in la la land and don't mind parading their ignorance around with confidence. Having handlers will often prevent you from getting real scars that teach you how the world actually works. So I want you guys to understand something super, super fucking important, bro. A lot of these entertainers or these child actors, they don't fucking live in reality. They became multimillionaires at 14 years old. Obviously didn't have access to the money yet, but pretty much they had the millions of dollars. They just get it when they're 18. They made all this money at a young age. They had all these handlers that turned them into stars, that made them famous. So they can come out of all of that and they can have these stupid ideas like trans women are women. And we should just have open borders. We should just let everybody into the country. Who cares? Even if they're a fucking crazy sex demon who's going to rape all the women, just let them in. It's all good. They can afford to have these ideas because they don't have to live in reality. They became a millionaire at 14 years old. That immediately disconnected them from what's real. That immediately disconnected them from what the average American has to deal with. They can afford to parade this ignorance around like we should just do all these things. All these things are great ideas when it hurts the average person a lot. It hurts the average woman a lot when she has some grown ass man wearing a fucking wig, pulling up in the bathroom while she's, in the locker room changing, while she's just trying to use the bathroom. It's just some man walking into the bathroom saying, I'm a woman. No, you're fucking not. But like, that's the situation. But these actors, these entertainers who have been millionaires since they were like 3, primarily here, the child actors, talking about Emma Watson here. She's been a millionaire since she was like 14 years old. She can have these horrible ideas. She can have these horrible politics because who's going to hold her accountable for this shit? J.K. Rowling was fucking broke at her age and had nothing. She actually had to deal with the trials and tribulations of reality. Emma Watson became famous and rich at 14 years old. Like, why would she have to give a fuck about what the average American has to deal with? Why would she even have to care about what's going on in politics? Her life is fine. And she can sit there on her high horse like, my life is fine. All these ideas should be good. You should just accept all these ideas. Who cares? To the point that you can even bite the hand that feeds you. J.K. Rowling literally made her. This is also a side thing of how women will always have no loyalty. But the point is, J.K. Rowling made Emma Watson into what she is. So the fact that she can turn around and berate this same woman talking about you don't believe in trans right? You're fucking crazy. Bitch, I made you. What the fuck? But anyway, that's besides the point here. I'm saying all this to say that you guys should never ever take the opinions of entertainers or any of these child actors like, even moreover, from Emma Watson, we're looking at Ariana Grande, we're looking at Selena Gomez, any of these young actors that got rich at a young age, you should not take them seriously. A lot of these entertainers in the music industry, you should also not take them seriously because they all have handlers, they all have enablers. You know, from the entertainment industry side, when we're looking more at music, all these people that got famous, their fame is manufactured by enablers. Their fame is manufactured by record labels that are behind them, that are making them rich. Not that they didn't have talent when it comes to acting or music or whatever. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is their acting or their ability to sing and their acting was produced or helped by the organizations behind them. So they're beholden to what their organizations want, not themselves. So a lot of these entertainers, they'll say whatever the fuck they got to say. They'll have whatever is the most popular political opinion because they know that's going to make them a shit ton of money. They're always going to prescribe to the best opinion that's going to help them gain the most financially. They're not going to say real shit to you. They're not going to say or have ideas that actually help you, especially as a young man watching this. They're not going to have the ideas or opinions that are actually going to serve you at all. Why would they? That's not going to make them richer. So they're going to say whatever's going to make them the most money. So they're going to push whatever ideas might be horrible for society, but are great for the views, are great for the money, and they'll give it to you. Because they don't have to give a fuck. They don't invest into politics. They don't pay attention to politics. They could give a fuck less. A lot of these entertainers don't give a fuck. And then on the other side of this, with the child actors, they don't give a fuck either. They've been rich since they were 14. They have their multi-million-dollar house over there in Beverly Hills, not away from all of the bullshit, so they can sit on their high horse and tell you, yeah, you should accept trans women as women. Fucking stupid. And I want you guys to protect your minds. Don't listen to any of these entertainers. Don't listen to these entertainers who are manufactured. It just puts you in a situation where now you are being pandered to by people who don't give a fuck about you because they've never given a fuck. They don't have to care. They pay attention to politics once every single 4 years and then start telling you how to think. Bitch, what the fuck? You've been a millionaire since you were 14. You don't even know what my life is like. Other 14-year-olds were playing on the recess playground. You were in a Hollywood studio shooting one of the biggest series of all time, one of the biggest movie series of all time. You know what I'm saying? It's like completely different worlds. And unfortunately, they're going to have these shitty ass opinions that they're going to try to purport or give you. So I want you guys to protect your minds. Don't listen to any of these entertainers, these actors. They're not served by telling you guys the truth. They're not served. They're going to say whatever politics benefit them. Even though if they obviously hurt you, they're going to say that there's more than two genders. They're going to say trans women are women. They're going to say we should have no borders. They're going to say all these things don't matter. Let's just let everybody come up in this motherfucker. Because it doesn't hurt them. It actually only serves to benefit them, whether it be financially or they've just been coddled for so long in their life because they became a millionaire at 14 that they don't understand what real reality is like. They can afford to have dumbass ideas and opinions because they don't have to live the same reality as you as a young man growing up in America. They don't have to care. They can just say whatever they want from their high horse. So I want you guys to protect your minds. You want to mess with guys that are going through real shit. You want to mess with guys who have been through what you've been through and understand or can see the world from your perspective, and can explain your situation to you better than you. A lot of these entertainers and these actors, they can't do that shit. When you get rich that young, you can't do that shit. You think Justin Bieber can explain to you about what it takes to be a man? The nigga became fucking famous and rich at 12 or 14. This is also why I think it's so dangerous for a man to get very rich at a young age. Because a lot of guys can't handle the shit. They haven't been through enough real shit. They haven't gone through enough real experiences to really mature them and give them a real good understanding of what reality is actually like. So point being, guys, ignore these entertainers, ignore these fucking child actors or actors that were famous since they were children. They don't know what the fuck's going on and they could care less. They're going to say whatever they need to say for money. They're going to say whatever they need to say to appease their organization. They don't actually have any real thoughts or opinions, and they definitely don't give a fuck about you, So that's that there. I think that's just so important for you guys to understand. Like, That shit fucking crazy when I saw that shit. Like, how can you, who was basically made by this woman gave you your entire career and all of your money, and you could turn around and bash her because she doesn't believe that trans women are women? Are you fucking stupid, bro? But that's what happens. That's what I'm saying. When you get famous so young, you don't have to deal with real life. Like, you just don't. So, I'm telling you, this is why everybody can empathize with the zero to hero story. This is why everybody can empathize with the got it out of the mud story. Because it's real, it's raw. You know, you can understand the pain and the suffering. Like, it's real. So, anyway, all right. This other thing I wanted to kind of talk about, and this kind of relates to what I was talking about at the beginning of the stream with the whole don't give a fuck about people who are more talented than you and shit. Like, you don't actually need to be concerned about that, you know, because it's your determination that takes you there. Well, there's actually 3 primary things that turn you into a winner for sure. You know, other than the fact of never giving up, but like basically you want to have, or you want to be thinking about these things very deeply. So the 3 things are desire, knowledge, and instinct. So when it comes to desire, if you don't have the hunger, if you are not starving to succeed, you just simply won't. And the primary reason why you're sitting on your ass right now and you're not accomplishing your goals to any degree is simply because you lack desire. It's actually not because of anything else. If you needed just one thing to succeed, it would just be desire. All you would need is an extremely deep hunger. Because imagine you're in an ocean and you're drowning, right? You would do whatever it takes to breathe air. You'd fight, you'd thrash around, you'd swim up, you'd do whatever it takes to get a breath of air because you know you're about to die. The stakes are that high. And all you think about is breathing. You're not thinking about anything else. All you're thinking about is breathing because it's life or death. You know, that's hunger and starvation and desire at its extreme. So you're not even worried about what you're doing. You're just doing. You're just making shit happen. You're just going, 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 going. And as men, you know, we're goers, we're doers, we're builders. We make shit shake through our actions. So if you're not doing anything, it's because you don't have the desire. Desire is what forces you to act. When you're drowning in the ocean, you're doing whatever it takes to breathe because you desire to breathe, because you know if you don't, you will die, you will drown. Understand? So it's like you're taking whatever action you can take. You don't even give a fuck. You're not even thinking about it. You're just whatever, you thrashing around going crazy because you got to breathe this air. So if you're not sprinting towards the success that you want, if you're not sprinting towards your ambitions, it's because you lack the desire. The hunger just simply isn't there. And you have to give yourself that hunger if you want to be a winner. It doesn't matter what you do. You can have everything you need to succeed. I'm telling you, you could have everything you need to succeed right now. But if you don't have the hunger, if you don't have the desire, it's just not fucking going to happen because you won't take action. The hunger just isn't there. So if you wanted one thing, if you wanted just one thing, you need to succeed. The only thing would just be hunger. If you have hunger, you'll win. You know, because even shouting to the earlier part of the stream when I was talking about if you have this will and determination to win no matter what, that's the desire. Desire will have you working towards something for years on end till you win. So you have to give yourself that hunger. And I'll talk about giving yourself hunger after I go over the other 2 aspects. So the second here is knowledge, right? So if you have the desire, you're taking a shit ton of action. Good. But now you need to make sure you're taking the right action. Now you need to make sure you're avoiding as many mistakes as possible, right? Because when you are gaining knowledge, which is gaining awareness of experiences that help you avoid mistakes and makes you take action in ways that benefit you a lot more, you're going to head towards your success a lot faster. This is why it's important to go and learn from men who have accomplished what you want to accomplish, because they can directly breathe into you the beliefs and perspectives and knowledge you need to avoid the mistakes that they have made to head to where they're going much faster. Understand? So look at these 2 things, and when we already combine them, when you have an insane hunger and an insane desire to win, that you're taking a shit ton of action, and you're also going out and getting more knowledge and more awareness around the goals that you were trying to achieve, now you can move 10 billion times faster. You're just going. because you're very smart. You're intelligent now because you know what you need to know. You're learning from guys who've done what you want to do, and you have the hunger and desire. So things are just happening. You're just cooking. You're just making an insane amount of progress, you know? And I already alluded to the knowledge thing there, which is basically you should be learning from guys who've achieved what you want to achieve, because guys who've achieved what you want to achieve have seen the path, they have made the mistakes, so they can breathe the information, beliefs, and perspectives that you need to succeed as well. This is why you should listen to them and not some bum ass nigga off the street. This is why you shouldn't just take advice from guys who have not done what you want to do, because they're just going to give you shitty advice because they haven't done it before. Understand? So now we talk about instinct. And what I mean by instinct, I mean you just move and course correct, right? So a lot of times, a lot of guys, especially when you're a little bit more intelligent, you're not making as much progress as you could be making because you're trying to make too many perfect moves. Going back to the knowledge a little bit, even if you learn from all the mistakes of your predecessors or those who have already achieved what you want to achieve, you're still going to make your own new unique mistakes because you're not perfect. None of us are perfect. So you're still going to make fucking mistakes, right? So if you're still trying, even after learning from all these guys who have done what you seek to do, to never make a mistake, you're going to fuck your shit up, because now you're going to be moving really slow, or now you're not going to even move at all because you're trying to live your life too perfectly. You're trying to make your path to success look too perfect. This is slowing you down when really you should just move on instinct. Now that you have this hunger and now that you're gaining all this knowledge, you should just be going. And when you do make mistakes, you just course correct, right? Because even when you trust your instincts, you're going to make mistakes sometimes, right? But you just need to go to the next thing, because you don't have time. You're not going to live forever. You don't have time to sit and wait and try to live your life perfectly. You just need to go. If you make a mistake, you learn from that mistake, move on again. You make a mistake, move on from that mistake, go on again. You're in a flow state. You're just going. If some shit gets fucked up, you just fix it and you keep going. Instinct. You just go. You know you need to make something happen, you just start moving. You're making mistakes, you're fixing it, and you just keep going. You know? Imagine like you're an athlete, right? A basketball player, soccer player. You're in the middle of a match. Do you think you have time to be thinking about your perfect dribble or your perfect No, nigga, everything is moving so fast. You have to just go. You have to trust your knowledge. You have to trust your desire to solve the problem. You make a mistake, you have the same hunger and knowledge to quickly fix the mistake. Or you learn new knowledge because you made a mistake, so you're going to learn from this experience. You learn from this experience and you use the hunger that you have to fix the mistake and keep going again. Because instinct is what gives you that speed. Instinct is what's going to allow you to actually make mistakes, gain new experiences. And now that you gain these new experiences because you made these mistakes, you're just going to head towards success faster and faster, right? Because a lot of success is about making all the mistakes, so the only moves that are left to make are the right ones that are going to lead to you becoming successful. I'm not saying you're going out of your way to make mistakes. I'm just saying when you make them, now that you learn from them, you're not going to make that mistake anymore. What does this mean? You're going to head towards your success a lot faster, right? So that's how I want you guys to think of this. And when it comes to desire, by the way, I want to go over that too, because I pretty much explained how to have the other two, the knowledge and the instinct. When it comes to desire, it's all about environment and comparison. Who are you comparing yourself to? If you're comparing yourself to the current bum ass niggas that you're around right now, you're going to stay a fucking loser, because your hunger is just not going to be that high. You want to starve. Starvation comes from distance. And to create that distance, you have to compare yourself to guys who have achieved exactly what you want to achieve. You want to compare yourself to guys who are at the pinnacle. Always. You want to cut everybody else off. You want to not give a fuck about any other guy. Only the men that have achieved exactly what you want and higher, only them. Because when you compare yourself to them, you're going to see all these deficiencies that you have. You're like, damn, I need to get to fucking work if I'm going to reach their level. You need to wake up every single day and only listen to them. Ignore everybody else. Ignore all the bum ass guys. Hell, you need to cut off these bum ass niggas. You should not be around any guys at all that are not at the level that you want to be at all. Because they will drag you down. They will distract you. And because they're distracting you, you're going to lose hunger. This is how you lose hunger, guys. When you're around bums, when you're around guys who are comfortable, that's how you lose your hunger. As human beings, we are social creatures, So the people we are around can either drag us down or lift us up. So I want you guys to only sit and listen to guys who have achieved what you want to achieve. Ignore everybody else. Don't listen to anybody else. Only listen to the guys that are absolute massive winners. Because when you compare yourself to them constantly and always, you know what happens? You start getting very, very hungry. You start realizing how shit your life actually is. You realize that how much scarcity you're actually living in. You realize that, damn, you actually fucking suck. And the only way you become a winner is by knowing you are a loser. And when you compare yourself to guys that are massive winners, you figure out how big of a loser you are. And you know what this does? It creates hunger. It creates desire. It creates will to do what? To succeed. And that's how you get the hunger that you desire. That's how you get the motivation that you need to start working like crazy towards your goals. And then now we combine all three, right? You have the hunger that makes you want to take insane aggressive action. You have the knowledge that you were gaining from guys who have achieved what you want to achieve. So this helps you avoid dumbass mistakes, and you can make brand new mistakes that you're going to learn from, but you're already moving very fast because you've learned from the mistakes of those who have come before you. And then finally, you move off instinct. Who cares if you make mistakes? Just course correct and keep it moving. You don't have time to sit and wait for a perfect life. You don't live in a perfect world. You don't need to make perfect moves. You just need to be willing to learn. So just trust your instincts and move. So yeah, man, those are the three things you need to constantly be thinking about when it comes to your success: desire, knowledge, and instinct. If you take those things to heart, if you tattoo that shit on your brain, I'm telling you, there's no way you won't be a massive winner. And if you do all the things that entail gaining knowledge, that entail gaining desire, that entail instinct, or what instinct looks like in action or in application, as I just explained, then you'll be a massive winner no matter fucking what. So yeah, man. So that was clean. That was a nice little yap session, bro. That was a nice little yap session there, man. Hope I cooked up there for you guys, man. So just ignore these talented niggas. You'll outlast them. Don't listen to any of these entertainers or these bitches or dumb hoes that got rich when they were fucking 9 years old. They don't actually live in reality and they don't give a fuck about you. So you need to protect your mind. Don't listen to them. Listen to real winners. Listen to you niggas like your boy who understand what you're going through. Because I'm still on the come up too. So I understand exactly everything that you are thinking right now. There's nothing that a young man is currently going through right now that I've not went through and or experienced. So I can actually relate to your situation. Not some bitch that became a millionaire at 14 years old and says, oh yeah, trans women are women and we should have open borders and yada, yada, yada. You don't know what the fuck's going on, ho. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You're a whore. We don't care, right? And then lastly here, you want to have the desire, you want to have the knowledge, you want to have the instinct that is going to take you exactly where you want to go. So yeah, man. Nice little stream there. We'll be back at it again tomorrow, probably around the same time. Keep it cooking. And yeah, I think I keep saying this, but I'm gonna add all of my ads and stuff around so you guys know where to follow me at. Definitely follow me on X after seeing what I be posting on X. I'll be going crazy on X, posting the realest shit ever, and also political shit on there as well. So yeah, man. Love you guys. Love the fam. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Alrighty.